Yo, Inca, you want to come out here? Welcome back to the MDA, and a lot of this, man, this was a good weekend. Well, this was a good week. So we did take a small interlude break for Thanksgiving, but everything else now has been played, and finals will be played the day after this is not played, but day after this is recorded. Semifinal preview, finals preview. I'm Incog, and welcome back. Let's talk about who won, who lost, and what I feel about the finals matchup, of course, since they're two teams that have fought before for sure, but, you know, didn't go the way of the dragon last time, I would say, so we'll see what happens. But, semifinals first. This first battle, man, you want to talk about a battle that could have gone either way. This was something. Bloody brought the Mamoswine King Gambit, Mew, Ogerpon Wellspring, Tornadus Therian, Typhlosion Hisuian, and the Glacier, while Sandy brought the Dialga Origin, Mega Camera up to Alolan Executor, Tinglu, Pecharunt, Hisuian Avalugg, and Kilowattrel. And based on the statistics alone, you might think, damn, Hisuian Typhlosion must have had a great day, honestly. How did it not die once? That's for Game 3, and you will be seeing the replays on screen probably about now, and I'll say this, the first game was definitely very close. It could have gone either fucking way, but as I mentioned during the playoff preview, or at least the semifinal preview, Trick Room was going to be a very big factor for at least one of these teams, and turns out I was correct. For once in my life, I was damn well correct. Sandy took Game 1 off of the back of a Memento that was from Tinglu going for Z Memento, which allowed him to throw that off, get off the HP all the way into Dialga Origin, and it cleaned up for Game 1. Game 2 was almost kind of the same things, not really. We saw the Z Dark again. I think it was for Throat Chop against something. Might have been Terra Ghost King Gambit. I don't really actually recall. What I do know is Ogerpon was starting to put some pressure on. Unfortunately, gets that crit on Pecharunt. And without that, I don't think we would be seeing a 2-1 victory in Bloody's favor, because that definitely shifted things. Though I will say, for the record, this could have just been a set loss for Bloody, honestly. Game 2, we had to redo because of Bloody didn't understand the changes mantra. There's no changes to moves. It's only changes to mons, like you can switch one out and put one in. And he had changed Drain Punch to Close Combat, which definitely made a big-ass difference in that first Game 2 that we'll forget about for now. But hey, the second Game 2 happened and went off with a hitch, and Bloody got that victory. And definitely, you see him at 1-1, and it's like, damn, how's this gonna go? Bloody subbed out, I think, the Mew and slotted in Typhlosion, Hisuian, and Avalugg came along and subbed in for Kilowattrel, and it could have gone a lot better had Hisuian Avalugg not. I guess Sandy kind of switched out in a moment that I think, yeah, I definitely agree, switching out there was better for him. And Hisuian Typhlosion Scarf, critting that Mega Camera up with Eruption, doing 90%, then a standard probably like, what, 60? Maybe at best, I don't know, but it did a fuck ton, and that changed everything. And unfortunately, Sandy did end up forfeiting before the game was fully over, but it still maintained and believed that, obviously Hisuian Typhlosion was Scarf, and, it would have put major belt to ass to the last two Pokemon on the team, which were Alolan Executor and the Pecharunt. So it didn't really matter, but that is to say that the Game 1 and Game 2, some of the best shit I've seen in a long time. But that being said, it definitely could have gone either way, and definitely felt as though both teams really wanted it a lot. And sometimes it be like that. Sometimes you got it, and sometimes you don't. Crits, among other things like status effects and such, are definitely a part of the game, unfortunately. And some people are more lucky than others, as we like to say. But congratulations to Bloody and his Stockton Rule Edges. They punched their ticket for finals. Who will be their opponent is the real question you're asking. And let me tell you something, it's going to be the Flora Fluttermanes. Good God. Collectively, I think this was closer to 200 turns in 3 games. So if you're going to watch these replays, watch them at fast or hyper fast if you can. This definitely was a lot. Flora won 2-1 over the Rachis and Annihilate, bringing the Fluttermane, Magmortar, Galarian Darmanitan, Orthworm, Hisuian Goodra, Meowscarada, and Ditto, with on Ragefist side, they brought the Iron Jugulus, the Mega Galay, Clefable, Mousehold, Milotic, and Iron Treads. So this was a great display of never give up. You know, we see this cosmic powered Terra Psychic Clefable. We see Milo doing the most in the first 2 games. We see the cleanup crew that is known as Mega Gallade, and we see the Iron Treads being Iron Defense Body Press. And the game 1 realistically does not go to plan for Pantros, and while he does lose 1-0 there, these next 2 games are very important. You see, Pantros switches out the I want to say he switched out Meowscarada from Ditto, and Ditto changes the course of everything, from if Primer's going to set up early to just even being able to really keep everything at bay. And let me tell you something, that game 2 is historical, but that game 3, oh man, it couldn't have gone any better for Pantros. Getting the paralysis from the Thunderbolt on Magmortar to the Milotic changed everything for game 3, and man, oh man, all I can tell you is these 3 games, if I were going to tell you something, they were something else. I'm not even playing them on screen. I'm talking to you right now. Watch those 3 games. It's a lot of turns to get through, I understand, but every turn is vital. And these were really some of the best playoff games I've seen, especially here, because honestly, had Pantros decided just to say fuck it and gave up basically during game 2, we'd be seeing the 1 versus the 2 seed, and honestly, that's not a bad thing. It really isn't. But he kept going and kept going. The Hisuian Goodra doesn't get enough credit here for Rest Talk. Terra Ghost Curse, which is actually high key. Write that one down. That's going to go down in a history book somewhere. Because holy shit, that was, it was something that you could desperately forget about, of, you know, getting off the curse into Clefable and really stalling it out for as long as you can. Really making sure that you don't lose to certain mons, and overall Ditto definitely made the difference for switching in from Meowscarada. And I mean, like, I didn't really like Magmortar, not gonna lie to you, but it did the work that it needed to do. Surprisingly, in game 3 it definitely mattered. And honestly, while Earthworm maybe didn't, you know, do the thing with Shedtail, it still made a big difference here these 3 games. And on Primer side of things, man, it's a great season. You know, I don't ever say it was, because the season was still great. You know, it's not like it might be in the past, but it was a great season. It is a great season for you. Being the top overall seed and doing as much as you could to try and prevent things from happening, but Mega Galay getting burned both in game 2 and game 3 definitely did not help at all. And you know, Milo getting paralyzed definitely didn't help either. But overall, you did what you could, what you had, and that, to me, is impressive. Congratulations to the Flora Fluttermains. They punched the second ticket to the finals. So let's talk about each team in depth. I'm not going to give you a prediction. This is a 5-game set that has no bans. So let's talk. Bloody finished the season 5-2 plus 30. Second overall, has a dangerously good team, and the really fun fact about his team is that it has no Mega. I said this during the beginning of the first video I made about these teams, is that this is the only one that doesn't have a Mega Evolution. So Bloody's playing with everything on the table, going band for band with anybody that wants to fuck with him. And honestly, from every member down, it's very much a well-balanced team. Obviously, we have outliers in the King Gambit and the Ogerpon Wellspring having the most kills on this team, followed up by many things going pretty much plus or minus 0 or having negative differential overall. But a lot of mons do a lot of different things. We've seen Fire Spin Eternatus, we've seen Vikavolt do so much work being able to roost and keep itself around and getting up webs. We've seen Mew run many a different set, but has done definitely the most it could have done every single week. We've seen Typhlosion Hisuian be a very much a big deterrent for a lot of teams to try too much on a Scarf Mon. We've seen King Gambit and Ogerpon Wellspring put belt literally to ass almost every fucking week of the season, and they have been tremendous for Bloody. We've seen Tornadus Therian be one hell of a great flying type that might not hit all of its moves all the time, but still a statistical nightmare for anybody who's trying to get damage on it. We've seen Togekiss do not as much as you would think it would want to do this season, but it's overall been still a net positive. and we've seen the duo of Mamoswine and Glastrier still be very great ice types, Glastrier being the slow but very sturdy ice type during the season, and Mamoswine threatening to put up many a number, but it has done a solid job overall. Bloody and his Stockton's Rule Edges are something to marvel at. I'm pretty sure Bloody has won at least one season of my league before, and he is your first competitor in the finals. I was going to have something graphically or something else done here, but I have been swamped with just end of the year obstacle, so it has been not great. But that's why I wanted to make sure I had everything written down that I could talk about. So overall, Bloody's team, the Stockton's Rule Edges, one hell of a team, and can they win this league? Well, with their opponent, that stands to reason as maybe. Pandros has won one of my leagues before, and he is one of my dear best friends, and holy shit, I cannot be more proud of you. You really did not do that great during this season. I can't lie to you here. 2-5 -17 entering as a 6th seed. I had basically written you off to lose in the quarterfinals. You won, and that got you slotted against Primer, where I also had said to myself, Primer should win this. You still stood tall. Snorlax putting bell to ass during the first quarterfinals, and in the semis, you really put together a winning strategy with that Goodra, with the Ditto, and just maintaining your level-headedness as you do. Pantros is known for being better at doubles and singles, and also is very much known for at least giving it 110% when he can. We're both very busy people, if you don't know, so it is very much relatable when I say sometimes you ain't got time for this shit. But Pantros, all the way down, has not had the most statistically present season of his Mons. I mean, just going down the list, Staraptor, Hisuian Goodra, and Meowscarada, while doing fine, definitely did not have the greatest seasons from a stat line, but they definitely did as much as they could. And that's where really all the good shit I can really say high-key can end, because honestly, and I hate doing this to people, you know, I'll go through it with you a little bit here so you understand literally what I'm saying. Fluttermane went 7-12, Darm went 11-11, Meowscarada went 14-9. That's the best Pokemon on his team. Medicham Mega down there went 14-12, and outside of that, like, Darm going 11-11 is next best, and everything else is not done great. Safe to say, this definitely felt like the season was thrown away. He got Snorlax and Ditto via the, I would call it the waiver wire, but the playoff wire, if you will. And they have paid dividends. From 9-0 on Snorlax and 4-0 on Ditto has definitely done better for him than it has for anything else he's had. Because honestly, with these playoffs, I mean, you have still Galarian Damanitan, and you still have, obviously, Hisuian Goodra putting up as much work. And it stands to reason that numbers don't always tell you everything. While he might have not done great this season, he still got into playoffs and still has maintained the fact that he is one win away from being, I would think, the first 500 team to win a championship. That is to say, however, he is playing Bloody, who historically is really fucking good, and both coaches are really fucking good, but Bloody has something going. So Pantros, you are the underdog. I don't want to say too much more than just that, but you are for sure the underdog. The last time these two teams played was the 5th week of the season, where Stockton did indeed take a victory over them. And let me tell you something, it could have gone basically one way, and it was 2-0 +9, unfortunately. But, you know, with the bans that happened that week, it was, I'm pretty sure, Darmg and Tornadus Therian, but with those two Mons being enabled, everything can go one way or another. That being said, I wish you both very good luck on your finals. I will probably not be able to watch live, but when I watch these replays back, could this be the first finals that goes 5 games? Maybe. Will it be at least 3 games? Of course. But maybe it'll go 5. Maybe it'll go 4. I don't know. I wish you both very good luck. I definitely think we can go over some X factors here. So let's go back to Bloody's team, shall we? First and foremost, Bloody's team has the X factor of still Eternatus. While it didn't have the best differential leaving the regular season, I think at 8 and 10, it is still a powerful threat against Pantros' team. I think it's the biggest X factor because there's so much that you can do with that Mon that while you can counter a lot of it, it is still bulky. It is still hell to deal with. While I do think a lot of Bloody's team is reliably on this physical offense of King Gambit and Ogerpon Wellspring, and even to some extent, if you want to do a Dragon Dance Mew or something, the biggest Mon that you have to worry about is, and I guess the other physical Mons being Glastrier and Mamoswine, Eternatus is very, very volatile. While it does simple things, it can still make the game very hard, and while Brandon just played what felt like a 200-turn epic in 3 games, you might be in for it again if you can't get past the major walls on this team. Eternatus is going to be the X factor for me personally, moving forward with Stockton into these finals, though I think that it might come down to more so strategy over anything else. And Stockton has shown clearly throughout this season that it is up when it's up, and maintain the fact that he was the only team to have beaten Primer this season. It stands to reason that anything is possible, and he is a very disgusting team. The other X factor on his team, genuinely speaking, is definitely still going to be Mew. It can literally do anything it wants, and within reason, I guess you would call it. And it can realistically shut a game down or start a game right back up where it landed. So realistically, Eternatus and Mew are going to be very hard for Pantros to deal with. So Bloody, use them to your advantage or don't. But I feel like you already know what you want to do because you always have a plan A and a plan B. But on the other side of things, Pantros' X factor is still going to be this goddamn Orthworm and Shedtail as a first note. Shedtail has not worked this season. It literally has not worked at all. And this proves to me that at least in a National Dex Ubers format, Shedtail can be broken, but it has not shown itself to be broken. Or maybe this is a singular instance. We've played, 9 games now at the very most, and it has not gone as well for Shedtail. And that stands to reason that everybody knows it's coming, so does that mean it should ever be unbanned? No, of course not. This could just be a statistical anomaly. But for this game in particular, can you get Orthworm in for however you can and just get off a Shedtail into something that would be your second X factor, which genuinely I think is any setup threat on this team. That's right. I'm giving you an expanded category. Bloody has a lot of ways to disrupt this team with things like Thunder Wave and Encore, and just in general being able to have the right coverage at the right time period. But the problem here is that with Shedtail into another Mon, something that can set up like Snorlax behind his sub, Hussein Gudra behind his sub, even like Power Up Punch on Mega Medicham, or even to some extent, I think Meowscarada gets Swords Dance. It might not. I could be very fucking wrong. It could also run Nasty Plot. I know it gets that. Nasty Plot on goddamn Fluttermane, I think it gets. And, a lot of things in this team have the ability to set up. Can you get off the Shedtail into something that can set up and start really pulling away at the game with more offense than defense? Or are we going to see another defensive standstill where Hussein Gudra and even Snorlax put up numbers while still keeping themselves as alive as they can, while allowing something like Meowscarada or Galarian Demanitan to clean up? I don't know. What I do know is it's definitely more so the Shedtail and the inevitability of, being able to set up with setup sweepers behind the substitute that Shedtail creates. Though if you want a real second Pokemon, I would arguably say, how good is Mega Medicham actually? Without webs on a team, this Mon is subpar at 100 speed. So do you bring things like Icy Wind or maybe like Magic Coat to reflect Sticky Web or something like that this game, so you can ensure that, there's no webs on my side, I don't have to worry about anything. I can get in this goddamn Mega Medicham and actually put in a lot of work, or are we not going to see it again? We just don't know. We just do not know. But Pantros, you've shown me, at least through this season, that you can get it done when you want to and if you feel like it. Let's see if you can get another chip on the board. Or will Bloody get his second chip? and I'm pretty sure each of them have one, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, I have not looked back at the master doc of everybody who has won in a long time, so I have to go through that again. Regardless, that's gonna be the semifinal preview or semifinal review and finals preview. Join me for next video for the championship review, where I go through every single game methodically with you and just go over the turns, not by turn, but realistically just going over them as much as I can to give you insightful knowledge on holy shit, what the fuck just happened. Obviously, they haven't happened yet as of me watching this video or recording this video. I speak before I put the horse. Anyways, I got a new roach. That's the semifinal review and finals preview. Thank you all for watching. If you guys like this, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Please check out the replays down below. They are very impactful for this, and I did a lot of talking here. And I did say I was going to put up the replays on screen, but I think it might be better to watch them while I'm talking. But until next time, good night and good luck.